She's a grandmother of two in her 60s, writing genteel articles for the likes of Good Housekeeping and Reader's Digest. But Monica Porter has recently found herself in the centre of a media storm.
There you go, there's a build-up for you. Monica joins us now, and welcome. So, as we said there, turned 60, divorced twice. You say you were battle-scarred. In what way were you battle-scarred?
Well, you know, when you get to that sort of age and you've been through a couple of long-term relationships that both, you know, sadly ended, and also other relationships and, you know, that came along, you know, in between. Yeah, you begin to feel that, well, you know, maybe this sort of happily ever after kind of fairy tale type thing, maybe that just isn't for me. And, you know, you get a little bit bruised, you get a little bit maybe jaded and cynical, perhaps, even.
So you've got your two sons. At the time they were 35 and 29, two grandchildren. You say the love and the passion and the sex and the sensuality looked like they could all be over. What do? Do you get a granny annex? Do you go out buying slippers? That was where you looked like you were in your life.
When I actually wasn't divorced twice. I was divorced once, by my relationship was with a partner, but that went on for 13 years. It was very long, like a marriage. But when it ended, and I was coming up to my 60th birthday, it was the first time ever in my life, first of all, that I ever was going to live on my own. I'd never lived on I got married very young. I was 22. Had started having children in my mid-20s. So for me, that was what the 20s were like. So suddenly, I'm going to be 60, and I'm going to be on my own. Well, how do you do this single thing? I mean, how does it work? I mean, who do you cook dinner for in the evening? Who do you watch telly with? You know, what do you do? So for a few months, I was very kind of sad and lonely, boo-hoo. And then friends persuaded me that I should, you know, try internet dating. I never thought it's something I would ever do myself, and I started to do it. And kind of lo and behold.
Well, to begin with, the online dating sites that you were going for were sort of specifically for people of sort of 50 and older.
There was one. The first one I went on was for, I suppose, more, older people. It was fairly boring. Nothing happened. No one seemed very interested in me. I wasn't terribly interested in the gentleman either. But, so basically, I left that because that was a sort of non-starter. And then I was persuaded by a friend to go into a much more sort of mainstream dating site with lots of people of all ages. And of course, initially, I mean, I thought, well, okay, I'm a bit cynical, but yeah, maybe there is some nice person out there who can start dating. Yeah, very traditional, sort of relationship, perhaps, might develop with someone who knows. Well, I did go out with people of my own age.
You said that they were dull.
Yeah, and some of them weren't dull. Some of them were nice.
But they came with baggage.
Well,
they came with a baggage of failed relationships and
I didn't want to listen
children.
to, you know, I don't want to listen to all the stuff about how their wife kind of cheated on them, or how their kids don't talk to them, or, you know, and it was boring, that's true. But there were, in a couple of instances, very nice guys, and we went out on a couple of dates, and I actually thought, well, maybe this could go somewhere. This seems good, but they kind of fizzled out. It went nowhere.
So it's fair to say you didn't intend to go out with younger boys. That wasn't the purpose of doing this.
But I realized that there were a lot of young guys out there who were very interested in older women. I mean, I was staggered because they would be winking and messaging me, and they're, you know, 30 years younger, and come on, it's flattering.
So what was it that they got from you, if you like? What was it when you were with them?
Initially, they saw pictures of me and they thought I might look like someone they might want to meet. So, you know, oftentimes it would just be messaging, you'd be messaging to each other, and then it kind of like fizzle out and nothing would happen. But obviously, on a number of occasions, we did meet up, and generally the tenor of our sort of conversation would be very much along the lines of, yes, I've always been interested in older women. I've always fantasized about older women. The internet has made it very easy for these fantasies to come true.
Yes.
So I've always, but I've never have done it before, but you seem like, maybe we, you know, so...
Well, the first guy was 23. Not interested in girls his own age.
Yeah.
You say there was a vague sort of Benny Hill sauciness about it.
There was a yes, there was a, not that he would understand what a vague Benny Hill sauciness was, but yeah, because our references culturally were like, different planets. But
what was it about him?
He was very engaging, very bright. He seemed very intelligent and interesting, and very interested in me. Perhaps a little bit cut above most young guys of his age. He wasn't just interested in going out and getting drunk and falling on his face, and clubbing, and he was drawn to older women because he felt that he could talk to them about all kinds of things that interested him, and we had really interesting conversations. So there was a very genuine kind of bond began to grow out of that.
I guess the thing that interests me is almost sort of the age thing becomes irrelevant slightly, but it's the no strings attached bit. How did you manage to separate the emotional side of things?
Because
people sort of say
I mean,
men are better at that sort of thing, but women, we get more attached the moment you sort of fall into bed with somebody.
Not when you're 60 and you know that this is not a relationship which is going to end in any kind of exclusivity or commitment. You're not asking anyone to commit themselves to you, and why should you? I mean, this young guy is going to go off and live his life, but there nevertheless was a connection which was valuable. And the young guys would tell me, well, the reason why we like older women is because they're so much more confident. They know what they want. They know how to get what they want. We like that. They're not making any demands on us. The young girls want, they kind of have a lot of emotional insecurities, which an older woman doesn't have. Self-assurance, confidence, you've got all of that, and they can appreciate it. Well, yeah. I mean, okay, I won't say that every single time it was, wow, ka-chung, fantastic. No. I mean, there were occasions when you thought, okay, this guy's very nice, but not going to happen again, But then in one or two cases, yeah.
Well, you dated one 23-year-old who still lived at home, and you said, I felt a wicked frisson shoot down my cradle-snatching spine.
Yeah, the papers loved that. Yeah, I can do good copy.
And did you?
Yes, of course, yeah. I mean, it's a bit titillating, isn't it, in a kind of funny way, but...
Well, you got an app. You found an app that matches potential compatible people with a specified radius. You had a small stable of fleggling studs ready and willing to play.
It's a good line.
You wrote it.
I did, yeah. My book is full of good lines, by the way, people. Yes. The one thing internet dating is one thing. You're not always on the dating website. You're not always looking at people's profiles. Obviously, you're not always sitting in front of a computer, but you always have your mobile phone with you. So it's so easy to get addicted to an app, which is so easy. It's like you're playing a game. It's like gambling. It's very addictive. So you got your phone, and I used to be a person who would sit around in the evening and read a good book, and suddenly I became this person who was looking through the profile. Oh, he's cute. No, he's cute. And suddenly, match. You've got all these matches. Well, it's very flattering. It's very nice. So then you start chatting to them and get to know each other a little bit.
And then one thing leads to another, and possibly
Yeah.
they could come over. But
Yeah.
a lot of people who watch this going, what about the safety side of things? I mean, you don't know this person. You chat to them
Yeah.
a bit and you meet them, and you did have one instant where you got a bit scared,
one
didn't you?
incident was a little bit edgy. It was only one incident out of, like a year or 10 months or whatever it was of meeting people. So, yes, of course. Look, I can't call the book My Year of Dating Dangerously if there's no danger in it. So, yes, there were risks. But I don't think that...
Well, he called you mummy and put his hand to your throat.
Yeah, okay, that was nice. That was not good. So we didn't go there again. But even then, I actually never thought, oh my God, this is going to end really terribly. It was just uncomfortable.
Was it safe sex?
Often it was. Occasionally it wasn't. Occasionally you get a little carried away, and even at 60 you can be slightly feckless at times. Yeah, I admit that. But on the whole, I think it was pretty safe.
And the number, the other thing that's sort of caught a lot of attention is the number in the year, which was sort of 15, 16. I mean, you say who's counting, but that's what seems to have got this worldwide outrage.
Yeah, but that's because of my age and because I have children and grandchildren. Young people do that all the time. They go out on dates, they have one night stands. They're doing that the whole time. No one bats an eyelid.
Do you think it's because you're female as well? Do you think that if this was a man in his 60s that people would be viewing this very differently?
Yeah, of course. But I'm not a person who really follows what convention, dictate. I've never been like that. Yeah. And I have to point out that when people have said, oh, she's a journalist who sits at home writing genteel articles for Good Housekeeping and Saga magazine. Well, yeah, I've done that, but I've also, throughout my writing life, I've actually also always written very strong first personal pieces, often on controversial things. I've never been afraid to stick my neck out and put my head above the parapet and other cliches like that. I've never been afraid to do that. This kind of goes maybe a little further than some of my other pieces, but I've actually always been that kind of person. So the number of letters and messages and things I've received from people since this whole thing became so sensationalized, who are in support of me, who are
Well, it's quite
positive and
it's-
saying that they do the same thing.
It's easy to sensationalise, isn't
Yeah,
it? Really?
it
Because
is
it's all
easy,
there.
yeah.
Your lines are all there. What
All
you've
I've
written
done
is all there.
is I'm the first person to actually come out and write about it, because I'm a journalist and I can recognize a good story when I'm living it.
And you say it happens a lot. You may have stuck your head
Does,
above the parapet,
yeah.
but there are a lot of women doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got so many messages from women in my age group who've done exactly the same thing. Or some who said, you know, I would so love to have done what you've done, but somehow maybe I just lack the confidence, but thank you for doing it. Maybe there's hope for me yet. That kind of message.
What about now then? Because it is a year and you have deleted all your online dating
Yeah.
accounts.
Yeah.
So don't you
Where
miss
do I
it?
go from? No, you know what? I kind of feel in a way I've got something out of my system, which maybe I had to get out of my system. I think in a way that whole kind of crazy year of doing all that was a reaction, perhaps an overreaction of splitting up at my time of life from a long-term relationship and just not knowing where I'm going to go next. So it's not something you can do for very long. You suddenly realize, oh, okay, I've got addicted to this. This is going to have to stop. I need to move on to another phase of my life. So that's what I've done.
So are
now.
you going to
I'm
buy slippers?
Retired from that.
Or are you going to just sit there looking at that computer and think, well, I might just open that
I think you'll be
profile
tempted
once
back.
No,
again.
I'll tell you why I won't be tempted. I'll tell you why. Because one newspaper commentator said very unkindly, well, which man would want to come and have a serious relationship with her now? She's done all this stuff. She's written this book. I mean, who would want to really, have a relationship with her? Well, wrong. I have had so many messages from really nice, age-appropriate gentlemen through professional networking sites and that sort of thing, who all want to take me out for dinner. And
I'm not
they're-
surprised. You're a very
these
beautiful
are like
lady.
bankers and you're very kind. Bankers and architects and very eminent, really nice, eligible men. So I don't think I'll have to go on the dating sites
Age
again.
appropriate
Age appropriate
now?
in their 50s. Okay, a little bit younger, but not. No one's
Not 21.
eyebrow young. Yeah, not 21. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to go older. No.
Well, it makes a fascinating read, and this is it. Raven, my year of dating dangerously.
Raven is your online name.
That's my online
who you were,
username, yeah.
So keep an eye out for that one, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice.
you very
you.
much.
Thanks very much.
Stephen's in the hub. What's the reaction?
Well, Phil, let me tell you now, Katie Jones says, good on Monica, I say. What does age have to matter? You're allowed to have fun no matter your age. Holly, you touched upon this. Sasha says, if Monica was a man, she would get a high five. Why are we so PC about sex? We all do it. It's natural. And if she wanted a younger man, well, then that's fantastic for her. I'm jealous. Evelyn says, if Monica was a man, this would be very shocking for many, but she is a woman and we shouldn't be encouraging it. Get a man your own age. You are not a teen anymore. Simone says, life is too short to care what people think, so go out and live life to the full, as Monica has been doing. I say well done. And finally, Zara Whiting, she says, wanting it, having it, 61 and loving it. Inspirational to all women. There we are.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you.
there.
Thank
Stay,
you.
stay, stay. Thank you.